Hello, my dandelions, and I say that because I assume you like to get blown. My name is Artemxs, and if it were up to me, I would adopt you all. So today we are tapping into your first time versus every time. My intention was for, like, you know, your divine counterpart, your first time with them versus every time with them, but let's just get into things, okay? Oh, of course, here's a clip of the piles. Feel free to pause the video, meditate, all those things. Timestamps will be down below. Otherwise, hello, pile one. We are tapping into your first time versus every time. So let's just get into it. Who is it with? I guess technically, I did imagine like your divine counterpart when I initially like structured this reading, but it could be whoever is your first time and then becomes a consistent repetitive action, okay? And that could be a spouse, that could be a significant other, that could just be a fling that you happen to call back, you know. You take it how it resonates for you. Wow. Pile ones, first time versus every time. Who is it with? Who is very dallion with? Okay, it's giving earth sign energy from those cards that came. That would have been a fire sign. Who is, thank you. Okay, we have both fire signs. Okay, this is Leo energy technically, and earth signs. This is Taurus energy. We're gonna keep the whole element, which, like I said, fire sign, earth sign, because there's just so many people, so I don't want to narrow it down to just one sign. But someone who is about their money, but still very passionate and romantic, loyal, patient, seeks pleasure. Pleasure is a big thing here. But it does say love affair, which goes back to the energy of, like, they don't have to be necessarily a consistent forever person, but just like consistent for now. Okay. Tell me more about this person. Who is pile one? Who is pile one? Who? Tell me more about this person for pile one. Okay, we have 5 of Cups, 4 of Swords, and 5 of Wands. A lot of 5s here. So 5s represent change and transition. I feel like this isn't a person you have dealt with before. You probably never met them yet. Their energy, they're kind of sad. Or like they're no stranger to sadness. They definitely have been deceived in the past by people, or felt like it was competing for someone's love. So I feel like they've like kind of fell back a little bit and took some rest, took some time to contemplate what they really want out of a connection. So when they come into your bubble, it's by no accident. Because they've had a lot of pain, they did find new ways to heal by taking, again, time to meditate, time to rest, time to really look at their circumstances. But they're not in a position where they want to feel like they have to outdo someone else or have to compete for your love and attention. They're definitely willing to collaborate, but they're not trying to fight or do anything like that for your attention. So if you're that type of person who's like, they need to fight for me, this is not the pile for you. Maybe you should pick another one. All right, let's go. Your first time, how do you feel with them? How does pile one feel? 5 of Swords, okay? So we have the 5 of Cups, the 5 of Wands. Now we have the 5 of Swords. Like I said, a lot of 5 energy around. How does pile one feel? We have the King of Swords. Also a lot of air sign energy and the Ace of Pentacles. Okay, how do you feel about your first time with this person? You feel a little bit defeated. You feel like, interesting. Maybe you were like, I wouldn't say bullied. I mean, this card does represent like bullying and surrendering. what am I thinking? I said air sign energy because these are two sword cards that popped up. Air signs is Aquarius, Gemini, Libra. But signs aside, air signs really are about being in your head, overthinking, contemplating, trying to see everything from every angle. So I feel like for your first time, you might have had like a lot of hesitation or a lot of doubts and a lot of fears, and you finally felt like you just had to give in to what you wanted. So like maybe your heart was saying one thing and your head was saying something else, and you're just kind of like trying to push all those worries out of your mind, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna just go for it. You do feel like you can communicate honestly with this person, which is amazing, because you know a lot of people feel like they have to hide parts about themselves, especially in the bedroom. But for your first time, you're able to vocalize these doubts. So you're kind of like, I do want to be here, but I'm worried about this, and I'm not sure of this, and blah blah blah. So even though you have these kind of things holding you back, it doesn't keep you from what you actually want to pursue. And then with the Ace of Pentacles here, that represents a new stable beginning. So I feel like that's why you decide to go forth with this connection anyway, or with this action, because you're like, I do have these doubts and I have these hesitations, but I know that this can get somewhere. I know that this is going to grow into something. I know this can develop into like a partnership. Okay. The energy around your first time with this person. Pile one's energy around this connection. Okay, we have child nature, which brings me back to more earth sign energy. It says friendship with animals, communication with nature spirits. That goes back to that communication energy I was talking about, where it feels very natural to tell them what's on your mind or how you're feeling. There's very much like an open dialogue going on here. Friendship with animals, that just gives me the energy that maybe they have a pet, like a bird or a rabbit, because look in this, it has like this little pet right there, and then right here they have a pet also. So I feel like that might even help with your comfort level to some degree, because you're like, oh my god, they have this little cat, and I feel so, let me just stroke the cat until I feel comfortable again. But friendship with animals, I feel like friendship with your true nature. You are very, what's the word I'm thinking of? You're very at peace with what you bring to the table and what you have to offer and everything like that. You kind of are in a sense of balance with your instincts. So again, even though in your head there might be some turmoil or might be like this energy of defeat, because you know yourself so well, you're kind of like, no, I'm gonna follow my instincts on this one. I'm gonna follow intuition with this one. I'm not gonna let my fears get the best of me. And again, I do genuinely feel like though your person has a pet or like is open to an animal relationship, and that just makes your heart grow. Like, oh, you like animals, you like saving wounded birds, or you know, something like that. Like, I love that about you. It makes you see them in a different light, because again, maybe with this work energy, because I said they Taurus energy is very much about their money. They're very practical. Very about their coin, like doing whatever's necessary to get their bank up. So maybe you see more of like a stern version of them. But then when you're like, oh my god, you like animals, you pay attention, you know, have a little furry being, then it like opens your heart wider to them. The energy of the first time. The energy of the first time for pile one. Their first time. Pile one's first time with this earth sign, fire sign person. Okay, we have Wisdom. Yeah. That goes back to following your instincts. Like, you know, you're making a wise decision. You know, good things can come from this interaction. So again, even though there are these fears and these hesitations, it's like you're wise enough to know better. There's also an intelligence here. There's also an open dialogue here. There's also a sense of foundation here. Pile one's first time. Oh, happiness. I love that for you. It says, I'm aware that being happy means that I'm on the right path. Pile one's first time. We have service. I feel good when I can help others. I feel like also because this person is no stranger to pain, no stranger to like hard times, with being of service. Okay, so I feel like this person isn't used to equality. Again, with this Five of Wands energy and having to compete for someone's attention, I feel like they were always the person who had to prove that they loved their partner more. So for you to be of service to them, even of the first time, is just kind of to give that equality where it's like, hey, you deserve just as much attention as I do. Let me help you feel good. Like, it's not only about my pleasure, because they're very good at providing pleasure for other people. You know, they know how to be sensual and romantic. So to be able to receive that type of energy, where they're not the afterthought, they are also like the main focus in someone's mental realm, feels very good to them. It's kind of like it gave me the energy of say you're like they're the middle child, right? And they're always overlooked, or like they were always the black sheep of the family, or they're always the person that was left at the mall, or I don't know, something like that, where it's just kind of like they know what it feels like to be on the sidelines. They know what it feels to be left out, or like to be picked last, that type of energy. So to have you come in and be someone who gives them that attention that they so wanted, it makes them feel really good. It makes them appreciate you even more. And I feel like also with this happiness energy, it's not only that you're happy that you were able to commit to your pleasure, because again, you had that hesitation where you're like, oh, maybe I shouldn't do this, maybe I should, I'm not sure. But you also are filled with a sense of joy that you can be beneficial to other people. Because this bullying energy keeps jumping back out at me. So like maybe in the past you were bullied, or you know what it feels like to be overlooked. You don't necessarily have to be the middle child, but you guys have this type of similarity where you felt like you couldn't really do much for others or be there for others, or didn't have much to contribute. So to have this person be like, oh my God, I love what you do for me, I love you, you know, to have someone want you there, it brings you a sense of joy and happiness. Okay, pile one's first time. We have Morgan, Thor's sister. Okay, it says power, courage, and strength. So yeah, that sense of courage to go for what you want despite your fears. That sense of power that someone enjoys what you provide to them. And that sense of strength to follow your instincts. And then again, we have these birds popping up, you know, like maybe they have a bird. That's that's really jumping out at me. Oh, and then in this picture, we have dolphins. I didn't even notice that. You know, dolphins are freaky, so. Okay, this is good because usually, you know, someone's first time, they're hesitant, they're scared, they're cautious, but it's kind of like you kind of have those fears, but you are using your courage to still push through and go for the thing you want to go for. And when you do go for it, you're feeling happiness, you're feeling like you're of service to others, and you know this is like the first step towards a new beginning, towards a stable beginning. Okay, so every time with them. Every time with pile one and their person. Yes, I love that. Every time it's a sense of love, okay? Every time the juices are flowing, overflowing, okay? Multiple orgasms is what I'm hearing. I thought I wanted that card, but you know I only like one at a time, so. Every time with pile one and their person. And this card is jumping at me, where it's like a give and take. There's this sense of equality, which goes back to that energy of I do for you, you do for me. Not in a tit for tat way, but again, in a they go overboard in the romantic pleasure aspect. You're an overthinker. You're also thinking about what this person wants. So there's just a good sense of balance here. Okay, every time with person one. Yes, this is the equality I was literally just talking about. And they have a big staff. They have a large sword. Every time with pile one and their person. It feels, how are we feeling? Okay, and Page of Wands. Okay, so yeah, with pile one, your person and you, every time there's a sense of love, there's a sense of moisture, okay? A lot of wetness, okay? And with the Justice card, again, what I was saying, there is equality. There's always truth. There's always that honest communication between you two, which is something that's honestly hard to find. Because again, people deny things, deny their pleasures, deny their truths, but you guys don't have that problem. There's this equality, there's this sense of balance, and it's very passionate, very adventurous, very enthusiastic. You completely want to be in this scenario. And then the way they're like singing and dancing and enjoying themselves, it gives me like jumping for joy energy, just like good vibes, good times, loving where they are. Having this bare feet right here brings me back to like the animal instincts, the naturality, like just being free in your own skin to be like, you know, when you eat really good food and then you start like doing a little dancey dance because it just tastes so good. I kind of feel like that's you in this position. Like you're just enjoying yourself and you're just like, I'm having so much fun here. Like and for some of you, this reminds me of a weave, okay? And it's just like ripping your hair off to show, again, your naturality. Like it's, you have nothing to hide in this connection. And it's very free here, which is something people don't feel often. So that's like so amazing. You're like, look how much you're grinning with joy. You love being with this person. And again, with this like temple in the background, it's giving me this sense of peace. Like you feel very safe where you are. You feel very like trusting to be in this connection. And both of these cards are actually, you know, with the trees out in the wilderness. So it's kind of like, again, that freedom to just be, to just, you know, like trees, branches, they just grow any which way. So it's like just growing as your natural self. Again, not trying to force anything, not trying to conform to anything, just the freedom to be whoever it is you are. And I also feel like you guys can't even keep your hands off each other to the point where you don't even have time to take off all your clothes. It's just like, pull this down here, lift this up here. I'm just going to slide that over there, and we're going to make do. The energy of pile 1. The energy of pile 1 every time with this person. Exactly. We have Don Juan. It says spotlights your positive, seductive qualities. Yeah. You're trying to seduce them. You're trying to... And we also have hero, heroine. Passion for a journey of personal empowerment. Yeah, but also with the hero card, hero is about saving other people. So I feel like you're also empowering each other while empowering yourselves. And yeah, exactly what I said from the beginning. Sensuous, seductive, romantic, like, and that's just exponentially more, like, the well for these qualities has grown even more so because you guys are like feeding off of each other's energy. Like, oh, you did that for me? I love it so much. Let me show you what I could do for you. Oh, you enjoyed that? Look what I was capable of. And it's just, you know, just feeding off of each other. And also, I was talking about that dancing energy, and look at them dancing, tangling, and there's like sheet music down here. So I feel like, you know, dancing around the room is like a thing you guys do. Like, oh my God, I love it here. This is so amazing. Dance with me. And it's like not even music playing. See, and also with this card, it's like you guys are at the same position. You guys are equally striving towards the peak moment for the both of you. I feel like you guys like know how to come at the same time or something like that. Every time with this person for pile 1. Every time with this person. Disciplined, which goes back to coming at the same time because you have to have a sense of discipline to be able to pull that off. It says, I can accomplish what I set my mind to. And we have imagination. It says, I embrace and nourish the creative aspect of my mind. With imagination, I feel like there's nothing you guys can't accomplish. There's nothing you guys can't do. Like, if you have an idea for... That goes back to that adventure energy, where it's kind of like, whatever you guys want to explore, if you've ever imagined, like, their hand up your skirt while hiding... Okay, this is the vision I got. You're at dinner, and it could be like dinner in your house, like with your family, or out at a restaurant, and the tablecloth is covering your legs, but they're still kind of like inching up your skirt and like touching parts of you to get riled up and to test your discipline, because obviously you can't be like, oh my God, that feels so good right at the dinner table. You know, you kind of have to have a serious face and have like a strategic emotion planted on your face so that nobody knows what's actually going down. I feel like you guys like to tease each other like that, just to like test how disciplined you are. Where it's like, oh, let's see who folds first, you know? Let's do this and let's tease each other and let's really build up these circumstances and the energy and see who cracks first. Like, whoever cracks first loses. Whoever cracks first has to go down first, or, you know, something like that. But I feel like you guys have a very vivid imagination, a lot of things willing to explore. And we do have Libra energy here, by the way, which goes back to that air sign energy I was feeling. So based on the cards that I actually see, we have Libra, Taurus, Leo, and Scorpio. But based on the energies I've been feeling throughout the reading, we have earth signs, fire signs, and air signs. Okay, last card. Every time for pile 1. We have she of the woods, which goes back to what I said, the forest and the plants and being outside and that like naturalness of things. Maybe you also like having sex outdoors. It says peace, connection, home, which goes back to this temple where I said it's very peace, very freedom. Like you guys do have this sense of connection. You feel at home with this person. You feel very safe with this person. As much as you like to go outside and have these like testing tribulations of discipline, I feel like at home is very much your guys' place, because then of course you can completely open up to your imagination and to whatever happens, you know, kind of unveils. But with this eyes closed, I feel like you definitely enjoy yourself to the point where your eyes are closed. Even in this picture, if you can see really closely, it's like they're just enjoying their company. They're just feeling the things, but it's not necessarily about look. It's not as it's necessarily about appearance, which goes back to like ripping the wig off and like showing their true self, just having the feet out, having the clothes off, like just being connected to yourself, your naturalness, your rawness. But yeah, so basically your first time, you did have a sense of happiness and you were happy you were able to provide for them and you did your best to use your courage to overcome these fears. But then it transitions into the energy of you feeling sensual and seductive and adventurous. And with this sense of equality between you and your person, you feel very empowered to participate in all these actions. Because again, typically, at least what you hear about it, it's always about the pleasure of the masculine or what you can do for them. But having the sense of equality really makes you feel connected to the action. So it makes you want to do more where you feel empowered because your needs are being met, because you have this open, honest dialogue with them. And also, again, because like I said, they have a sense of sadness, they have a sense of competition, they have a sense of doing too much for the other person. So to meet you and to be with someone who matches their needs, who has that sense of truth and equality and openness and honesty is like just the best combination. I don't want to stop talking to you. Let's pull from the tea bag, okay? And then I'll be done. The energy around pile 1. We have teapot, a deep friendship with someone of the same sex, which makes sense when I said a lot of pleasure is about the masculine's pleasure first. So maybe it's so easy for you to just fall into this because it's with the same sex. And then we have she of the woods. So maybe you guys are both feminines or both masculines. I mean, you know, there's just this sense of safety maybe because you have that familiar energy. What else? We have bat, take care, enemies are working against you. But bat, that brings me back to bird because they have this enemy. They have this pet that flies. I really am strongly feeling like a bird pet energy. With take care, enemies are working against you. Honestly, that goes back to the mind, the mental. Take care so that your mental doesn't get the best of you. We have jug, lighthearted, carefree time. I feel like they could also have jugs, which goes back to feminine energy. And then we have teapot and jug, which are both like pitchers of water. And then we have this right here when I said you guys, your juices are overflowing. So maybe you guys are both, this goes back to feminine energy again. You guys are both people who are able to retain liquids. Okay. Granted, I guess you could say cum is a liquid, but it's not the same as like juices pouring out like a vagina is, okay? I know that's really direct, but like we have Ram, a stubborn, aggressive person, which is Aries energy, which goes back to fire sign energy. I feel like aggressive in all the right ways, like sexually aggressive, but in a good way. And with stubborn, that might be you. Because you were the stubborn person who had to get out of your own way. Okay, and lastly, we have mice. It says discord among family and friends. This goes back to maybe those enemies working against you, okay? But it honestly gives me the energy of, again, being at a family dinner and your hands are fooling around under the table and they're just kind of like, hello, what are you doing? Pay attention, we can see you. And you're just like, okay, don't look then. Like, okay, but this is what I have for you, Pile 1. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye! Hello, Pile 2. So we are tapping into my first time versus every time. Initially, when I structured this reading, I considered your divine counterpart, like your first time versus every time with them. However, it could be like your first time versus every time with your spouse, with your significant other, with your long-term dalliance. Okay, so take it how you feel it resonates. But your first time, who is it with? For Pile 2, who is their first time with? First time with. Ooh. Maybe a water sign based on the cards that are throwing themselves at me. Maybe someone's throwing themselves at you, hoping, wishing you had picked them. Let's see. The first time, who is it with? We have 7th house, which is Libra energy. So let's say air signs, but it could be like your best friends. It could be your partner, the person who will turn into the person you marry. And we have Aries. So let's say fire signs and air signs. And on the card, it says impatient, impulse, courage, which gives me that energy of throwing themselves at you. Like maybe you know who this person is. Pile 1, I felt like they didn't know this person yet, but you could know this person. They could already, like I said, be your best friend, or you could already have some type of connection with them that's not yet sexual. But I do feel like you guys could become a relationship, even get married for some of you. So for your group, your first time that becomes your every time is definitely a long lasting connection. Okay, who is this person? Who is Pile 2's person? Okay. Who is Pile 2's person? That had too many cards. Who is Pile 2's person? We got the 3 of Cups, which goes back to friendship energy that I was mentioning, that you already have some type of connection with this person. Okay, this person is youthful, which means they could be younger than you. Or it could just mean they kind of have this like childlike essence to them. But I feel like they're very romantic. They're confident. They're like a happy-go-lucky type of person. They're very good at like prioritizing their attention for things. So they know what to give attention to first, which is why I kind of feel like they took the time to learn you as a friend so that they can prioritize really getting to know you before taking action towards making this something more serious. I feel like they're broke, so they don't really have a lot to offer you at the moment in terms of financial stability. But I feel like, I mean, people could be rich and be total assholes. So like money isn't really a definitive quality for me. Nor are you. I feel like if you just met them and they're trying to take you out, but they can't necessarily afford to do so, you would probably be like, maybe this person isn't for me. But because you have this friendship already solidified, if they're like, oh, okay, I'm broke, like I want to take you out, but I can't, you're kind of like, it's okay, like I'll pay for us or something like that. So again, if they were just trying to make this romantic gesture, but they couldn't afford to take you anywhere, it's kind of like off-putting. But since you already know them and you know what they're capable of and you know what they bring to the table aside from finances, you're kind of like, it's okay. I'll indulge in your dream. Like I'll pay for things. But I feel like they're very good at celebrating. That goes back to that prioritize energy. They know what to prioritize when it comes to you, when it comes to life. You're kind of like, how do they know what to prioritize, but they have no money? I feel like money isn't like a focus for them. It's not really a desire for them. Like money would be a great, yeah, but it's not like the end all be all. They know how to celebrate other things in life, like friendships and community. Yeah, let's keep going. How do you feel for your first time? How does Pile 2 feel for their first time? That was 2 cards. We only want 1. How does Pile 2 feel? I feel like it says this is the Destiny card. It's fate, okay? I feel like you feel like things are fated. It's the next natural cycle in your relationship. Like you guys are friends, but you both have crushes on each other. So like the natural next progression is to be something more. So I feel like you feel like this is a destined moment. How does Pile 2? Okay, but we also have 3 of Swords, which is heartbreak. So you know how it is when you like your best friend, but you're like, maybe I shouldn't go there because what if I ruin the connection? What if we can't come back from this? I feel like that's how you feel. You're like, okay, knowing them is fate. Them being in my life is obviously like destiny. But does that mean maybe they're just a platonic soulmate and not a romantic one? Like you're kind of hesitate that things will separate if you pursue. But we have 9 of Cups and this is like your dream. I love that. I mean, I don't love your hesitation, which is completely natural. I don't love that you're scared. But when I say I love this, I love that you have enough care for the relationship that you don't want there to be pain. You don't want there to be grief. But there's also a part of you that's pulling you like, this is everything you ever wanted. Like, if I'm picking up on these signs right and they really like me as much as I like them, like, oh, I want to just go for it. You're in love with your best friend or your best friend's in love with you, but based on your feelings, you're in love with your best friend. And based on what I said already, they're in love with you. So like, this is definitely the next natural progression. Beep, 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 beep. Okay, let's keep going because I'm so happy. Thank you, Pile 2, because I was all ready to do this reading and then I got in my head about something completely outside of the reading and I just was kind of like, I'm gonna do it, but like, I don't have the same joy. And you guys just reignited that because I love me. I love me secretly in love with my best friend type of trope when it comes to movies. I also love enemies to lovers, but that's not your case. So let's just keep going. The energy of... No, I don't want this card. I didn't even get to read my question yet. The energy of the first time for Pile 1. The energy of the first time for Pile 1. Come on. I only want 1 card. The energy of the first time for Pile 1 and their person. 2 cards. No, I want 1. The energy it together. The energy for, okay, this is the card. We have athlete. It says dedication to transcending physical limits, including handicaps, development of personal willpower, and strength of spirit. Yeah, transcending physical limits, the physical limit of the connection, which is possibly just being a friendship. And the limit, or like the boundary you place on that, surpassing that to go into the territory of a romantic option. And it takes willpower and strength of spirit for you to admit these feelings and for you to put yourself in this position where there's a possibility that everything will go to shit, but there's such a grander possibility that things will be fated and destined in exactly how you want them to be. The energy of pile 1 for their first time with this person. We have sun. Okay. It's going to be positive. It's going to be successful. It's going to be like so warm and glowing. It's going to be lighthearted, and there's just so much warmth here, okay? It's not a cold shoulder. It's not like this, you know, arms crossed, standoffish, distant. It's not that energy. It's these arms wide open, like, give me a big hug, run to me. When I saw this card, this athlete card, it gave me the vision of like running towards somebody, you know, and their arms are open and you jump into their arms and they pick your feet up off the ground and you just hug them, and there's so much warmth and love and attention here. That's the vibe I got. Where it's like, oh my God, I missed you. You know in movies when they come off the plane and someone's waiting there and they just have that run and jump instance that I was just talking about? It's kind of that vibe where it's like, oh my God, I've been waiting for you this whole time. Like, love me, cuddle me, snuggle me, hug me. Let me feel your warmth. Let me see your glow and your light and your just everything. This card is a Australian like goddess. I don't know if your person's Australian or, you know, they were in Australia for work. Again, this is just a small portion of you. But again, that goes back to that flight where it's like you guys are at a distance and you missed them for so long and they're coming towards you and jumping for joy. Okay, pile 2, their first time. Tell me about the energy. Tell me about the energy of pile 2's first time. We have judgment. Okay. It says, I understand that everyone has their own unique paths and challenges. And we have worry. I am learning that worry doesn't change an outcome. Yeah, I feel like you're judging yourself. You're judging yourself for wanting this, for possibly ruining the connection. You're worried that they might not reciprocate your energies or your wants and your desires. Like, of course you feel very warm here because you feel so safe within this connection, but you have a lot of like mental fears that are holding you back from completely pursuing your desires. The first time, pile 2's first time. We have Gwyneth. It says, the mother, nurture, present. This gives me the energy with present, especially, where it's like you're going to do your best to push these worries aside and be present within the moment, because what if this is the last time? What if this doesn't continue? So you're like, let me just give my all and give my light and do my best to nurture and be present in this moment, because like maybe this is the moment they fall in love with me if they weren't already. Like maybe this is the moment everything changes, so I have to give it my attention and my all. When it comes to the mother, it just goes very back to that nurturing energy where it's kind of like are you okay? Are you safe here? Does this feel weird? Like, are you sure? Like, this is okay. I don't want to put you in a position you don't want to be in. It's very much like just making sure the other person feels safe, feels at peace, feels valid. Or is valid the right word? I think it is. And with this card, it looks like she's steering the ship. So I feel like you're the one that's going to be taking control of the situation. Also, because you have all these judgments against yourself, you're like, let me not do too much, or let me not push too much so that I can be in a position. Sorry, someone just walked in the room. I completely lost my train of thought. It goes back to control. So basically, I feel like you want to have your hands on the wheel, and you definitely want to take control of things so that if things go wrong, you can't say that this is something that happened to you. This is something that you had all the focus and all the attention and all the care for. All right, so every time with this person, because I know now you're getting worried. You're like, wait, you said it was fated, and now I'm worried. Like, no, you were always worried. Even when I started talking about it, you were even more worried. Like, oh my God, how do they know that I am in love with my best friend? So the worries was already there, okay? But you're worried about pushing the limits of this connection. You're worried again about this heartbreak or this possible separation and what it could mean, but you feel as though it's destined and this is everything you wanted. So like, just enjoy yourself. I feel like if this connection is really what it is, you won't lose them off this one instance. Again, we're going to figure out how every time feels with them. So at least we'll have some type of insight. But again, even if it was just like, okay, currently I'm watching This Summer I Turned Pretty, and this girl Belly, she liked this boy Conrad, and she lost her virginity to them, and they were friends for years before they finally hooked up, and then they broke up, but they still are in each other's lives. They're still rooting for the best of each other. Of course, there was a little break of distance where things were a little wonky and they had to find their footing again, but when it came time to it, to show up for the other person, they were still there for each other. So I feel like, again, regardless of what happens, this is still going to be a connection that continues. Now, I'm the type of person that if I have a crush on someone and someone is like, I don't feel the same, I can easily turn that off and go back to friendship mode. I don't know if you have that same type of ability where you can just like be like, okay, let me turn off my feelings. So maybe that's also what you worry about, that you just won't be able to go back to the way things were. But again, let me stop scaring you and just get into the cards. Every time, pile 2, every time with this person. Every time with pile 2 and their person. Every time with pile 2 and their person. Every time with pile 2 and their person. Come on. What is going on? Every time for pile 2 and their person. And I think this card wants to come out. Did it? I guess I could take it. All right, the energy is a little weird. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, every time with this person, we have the Nine of Wands, the Knight of Wands, the Two of Wands, the Seven of Swords, the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, and the Queen of Cups. Someone's playing something in the background and it's so distracting. Every time with this person, I feel like you're fighting for your beliefs. Like, on one hand, it's like you're trying to give it your all. My brain is not working because of the noise pollution that is in the background right now. It's so distracting. Okay, this card is about follow through, but it is also about setting boundaries or being overly vigilant. So I feel like you're trying to push through for the sense of your impulse, for what you want to do. But with being that overly vigilant card, I feel like there's still a sense of boundary, which is this gate, you know, that's put up around the house. And house is like, you know, your comfort, your home, your connection, your safety. So I feel like there's still walls you put up about this connection, which again could go back to that judgment and that worry. So I feel like, yeah, there might be this sense of adventure and there's like this impulse to continue down this path, but there's like this duality. There's like, on one hand, this is the key, okay? And again, this is that person I want and I need. But on the other hand, it's kind of like, maybe it's unnatural for us to be in this predicament. And then look, you're taking a step forward when it comes to the unnatural side. So I feel like, again, with judgment and worry, you kind of hold yourself back. It's like, why would you hold yourself back from the thing you want, though? And I feel like there's a little bit, a sense of deception or manipulation, because it's kind of like, it's so weird because, like, this person knows you, okay? They were your friend. They know who you are. They know how you act. But then there's parts of you that hold yourself back from what you really want. And you're like, maybe I'm being too impulsive. Maybe I passed a boundary that I wasn't supposed to cross. Like, you feel like maybe there's a sense of bad luck or, like, misfortune. Maybe you ruined something that was great. Was the sex not as good as you thought it was? Like, I don't know why you're in this energy. If you, with this first time energy, like, if this is what you wanted and you love them and, maybe that's it. Maybe you thought you really wanted this connection with them in this way, in this intimate way, and you got that. And now you're kind of like, oh, you thought it was them who was going to reject you. And I feel like it's you pulling away. You feeling like you have to put those boundaries back up to some degree. Yeah, it says with this card too is moving past your comfort zone. So I feel like you have such a comfort. There's such an ease. That's it too. There's such an ease about being someone's friend. Now you're in a relationship role. You almost don't know how to act. You're kind of like, maybe this wasn't for the best. And it's saying to follow your sense of unconditional love, your sense of empathy. Like, maybe what it means to be in a relationship for you isn't the role you have to play. Like, you hear about what a significant other is supposed to do within a relationship, and I feel like you feel as though you can't rise to that occasion. Or I feel like you thought relationship them would be different from friend them. And it's kind of like, you knew they didn't have money when they were your friends. So how are you expecting to go on these whirlwind adventures and these trips and these situations when you know that was something they were able to provide? But I mean, we're not talking about the entire relationship. We're just talking about the every time with them. And it's basically, you feel like maybe you were being a little impulsive when it came to being with them. But that just, again, could be because you're not yet out of your comfort zone when it comes to how you interact with them. So instead of trying to change who you are, I feel like you have to go. You're kind of like, the dynamic of a friendship was easier. And of course it was easier. There wasn't all this love involved in this way. When people start getting in a relationship, they get in their head about things they think they're supposed to do or how things are supposed to unveil. I feel like you need more honest and open communication. But follow that sense of unconditional love. This was something you so wanted. Like, go reignite that energy. Let's keep going though. The energy of every time for pile 2. It says gossip. It says awakens consideration for the feelings of others, honoring trust. Yeah, I feel like you need to get out of your head a little bit and don't think about what you did or how you have to pull back. It's kind of like honor the trust, where it's kind of like, you guys were best friends. You were in this connection where you could tell them anything. Don't pull back now. Don't hesitate when now more than ever is when you need to be open about the information. Now is not the time to be secret. Now is not the time to now is not the time to turn inward. Like, the person you would go to when you were stressed and you were having a hard time was always this person. So even if the stress is about them, open that dialogue, open that conversation and communicate. Like, I feel like the role of girlfriend is not something I could live up to, because I feel like you're expecting this from me. And then you can give them the chance to really share their truth so that you're not so in your head. Because again, that's something you've done before, where you're in your head and you don't want to have this pain and this deception and this separation, but now you're pushing away from this person. So now you're the one causing the ridge and causing the separation. So you just have to be honest about how you feel. Pile 2, the energy of every time. Yeah, we have transformation. Things are definitely transforming, okay? They're not just the best friend that you were secretly in love with. Now you've opened this doorway, or like this portal to something more. So you have to allow things to transform, because you're kind of like, oh my gosh, I feel like I can't just be their best friend anymore. And it's like, you can, but now you have another title. Now you're also their partner, or, you know, you wanted a cycle for the better. You wanted things to elevate or naturally progress. Now they're progressing. So don't dig your feet in the mud just when things have the opportunity to expand. Pile 2, they're every time. Every time with this person for pile 2. Yeah, you have to find your balance. It says, I bring a state of perfect harmony into my world, and I do so without judgment. And remember, judgment was the energy you were feeling for the first time, where you're judging yourself. It's kind of like you're being too hard on yourself. You feel like all of this is on your shoulders because you're the one who wanted to initiate a more intimate contact. And it's kind of like it takes two to tango, all right? So it's like they met you at the halfway point. They, you know, you kind of stepped up and they decided to take that step up with you, which is this right here. So you think you're the only one who took the step, and it's like, give them a chance to pick up their foot, you know? But you have to be open enough to tell them that it's hard for you to get out of this comfort zone. It's hard for you to seek a new path, even though you may have been the one that initiated. Like, just go back to the regular dynamic of you telling them what you feel. There was such an openness before. Don't hinder that by keeping secrets now. Yes, and we have friendship. It says, I understand that a friend is in my life for a reason. If you're going to hold back yourself and not give yourself your all to this connection, then it is better just to go back to friendships because you had less worry, less judgment. But if this is something you truly wanted, your heart's desire, the thing you felt was destined, then don't do things to ruin it. Or also don't put so much pressure on yourself where you feel like the connection has to be different from the friendship. Why can't the friendship be the same as the connection, but now you guys just kiss and hook up and make out, you know, so that it's still that sense of ease. Like, tell yourself whatever you have to do to be able to get out of your own way. Pile 2 every time with this person. Yes, see, we have heart center, connection, love, receiving. Which brings me back to the energy I said, where I feel like they are ready to receive you. They are ready to connect with you in a loving manner, in a way that's more than the friendship was on its own, okay? And this goes back to this energy of the key, okay? The key to unlock the love. But you can't hold the key and be scared to stick it in the hole and turn it so that things can unlock. You can't keep these worries hidden because that's what ruins relationships. Secrets ruin relationships, okay? And gossiping to other friends about something that has to deal with this person is not how you solve this problem. Stop putting these walls up. The walls were necessary when you were trying to keep these feelings from emerging, okay? The walls were necessary when you were trying to block out the love for your friend and the in love for your friend. But you guys already crossed that threshold. You guys are already connected and hooked up. So now it's time to nurture yourself, okay? You nurtured them. You made sure they were good and they were taken care of and they were cared for. But now you have to give that same energy to yourself, where it's like, what part of me is feeling uncomfortable about this? What part of me is feeling jealous? What part of me is feeling disconnected? So that you can try to find that balance and re-engage in a sense of normalcy when it comes to your guys' interaction. Like, remember what the friendship was based off of: love, trust, and mutual understanding. So don't pull away from anything that is this. This person knows you, okay? There's a sense of unconditional love here. Follow your intuition, okay? Follow this third eye energy to truly give it a chance and transform this connection into what you want it to be, which is that partnership or that marriage or whatever it is. Because again, you wouldn't have risked the longevity of the relationship and the friendship if you didn't think this can grow. So go back to that mindset where you felt like it had so much potential and push forward in that direction to reconnect with that sense of love. Okay, I'm gonna pick from the tea bag and then we are done. Okay, final messages about this. We have Vine, seek out information that'll help you. Hopefully this video helped you, but also seek out information that'll help you in the sense of talk to them about the situation, okay? You're feeling all tongue-tied and twisted and like these vines have a chokehold on your vocal cords to some degree, and it's because you're worrying too much. You're imagining scenarios that may not even actually play out, okay? So seek out information that'll help you. Talk to them, see how they feel about the situation also, so that you can get that wedge out of the way. And we have older man, okay? Earlier I said they have like a childlike essence and that they could be younger than you, but it says older man, so they could be older than you. Or even seek out information from an older man, like maybe there's someone who can, okay, so maybe you're dating a male and there's someone who can give you the male perspective, but who's older because they already been through this situation themselves. Maybe there's someone who can help you. We also have carrot, opportunity or windfall. Yeah, an opportunity to come clean about your worries, your judgments. We have torch, okay? First of all, you're carrying the torch for this person in your heart, that things will work out. And this torch also looks like a vagina, but it's a spiritual development, enlightenment, awareness, and understanding. Exactly. You're going to be enlightened to their viewpoint, and you're going to realize you're not the only one who feels a little bit confused or a little bit worried or not doesn't necessarily know how to inch into that next step. But you're also going to be aware and understand more of how the other person's feeling, where it's like, no, I love you, I'm crazy about you, I'm just confused about this or that, or something that has nothing to do with the connection. Like, and lastly, we have dagger. It says fear, worries, intense situation, which is you. You're going through all of this turmoil by yourself because you're not opening up about how you truly feel. And the dagger, it's like you're holding this dagger and you're about to kill everything you worked for. You're the one who's about to make your own fear come true because you are staying in this tense situation. You are, again, with these worries, okay? After the first time with the worry and judgment, and once you have the initial, dalliance, and you realize they were on the same page with you, all of those worries should have shedded. That doesn't mean keep the worries and keep building on them and saying, well, maybe they feel this way now, but one day it might all change. Like, remember, you guys are friends. You had this sense of foundation before you intermingled, so that should be nothing that holds you back. You guys are friends. You guys already relate to each other to some degree. There should be nothing but understanding and awareness and enlightenment. So this is what I have for you, Pile 2. Hope it helped, and I'll see you next time. Bye! Hello, Pile 3. So today we're tapping into your first time versus every time. Technically, I did structure this reading with the interaction between you and your divine counterpart. However, feel free to take this as your spouse or your future partner or your long-term dalliance. I mean, just, see what resonates with the cards come out. So let's just get into it. Pile 3's person. Who is it with? Who is this person they are to be intimate with? We have Leo, so let's just say fire signs. And mystery. So it's unknown, the unknowable. I feel like you have a certain intuition about this person. With Leo, the lover, I feel like they're definitely a lover. They're definitely romantic. For some of you, I feel like you already know who this person is. And again, I'm definitely getting fire sign energy. Playful, warm, romantic, expressive, confident, trusting, proud. Definitely knows how to stand in the light. Maybe a little bit intimidating to other people. They could even be a little bit spiritual. I feel like it depends on you, but divinity definitely has their hands all over this. They're keeping, if you don't know who it is, they're keeping it a secret on purpose. And if you think you may know who it is, just follow your instincts with that. But who is this person for pile 3? Okay, we have Knight of Swords. Who is this person? The Emperor. And who is this person for pile 3? Okay, so Aries came out, so that's definitely fire sign energy. Who is this person for pile 3? Who is this person? Pile 3's person. Who is this person? Do we want them? Okay, I'll take both of them. All right. Who is this person? This person. I feel like this person will open a lot of doors for you. They have a lot of power. Honestly, celebrity came up, and obviously that's not for everybody, but I feel like they are abundant, they're successful, they're wealthy, they have this sense of power, this sense of structure. It gives like daddy energy to some degree. I feel like they're willing to fight for you, willing to compete for your attention, do whatever is necessary so that you recognize that they are a potential person on your roster. I feel as though They're very brave. They'll be the one who takes action towards you. So again, you're kind of like, I don't even know who this person is, but it's like they'll make the moves towards you, so you don't necessarily have to do anything out of your ordinary. I feel like they will completely like shake up your beliefs about things and completely kind of like rewrite the way you function in the world, because maybe there's things you haven't had access to. Again, maybe like in a financial way, you're like, oh, I've never hung out with the rich, or I've never gone horseback riding, or I've never went to a different country in the middle of the week, and they're going to like show you what's actually possible in the world, again with that opening door energy for you. Okay, so your first time with this person, how do you feel? How does pile 3 feel their first time? We also have Sagittarius energy that came out, so that just shows all fire signs are on the board. Leo, Aries, and now Sagittarius. And we have Aquarius energy that just popped out. All good things. You feel very safe here. How does pile 3 feel their first time? And we also have Cancer energy and 4 of Pentacles. Okay, so your first time with this person, you are going to feel like a new sense of hope. First of all, you're going to feel very trusting, very balanced, very like, this is on purpose, okay? This isn't something that just happened to you. This is very much on purpose. You feel safe here. You feel like after this situation, things are going to pick up so fast. You feel as though all the mistakes you've made or all the things you've learned in past relationships or anything like that has brought you here. This connection is kind of like a test of faith. You feel at peace here. You feel like, again, there's this new sense of hope. Like once you connect with them, you kind of see the purpose in this connection. You see how things are going to develop further. You see a journey starting before it even begins, and you feel very stable here, very grounded, very sure of yourself. I feel like you guys have the same kind of weird. This card also represents the Goldilocks zone. So I feel like, you know, it's not too big, it's not too small, it's just right. You're going to feel like everything, it just feels just right. A lot of cuddles after. I feel like you're going to like watch them while they sleep or vice versa. Because again, you feel very peaceful here. Very like yellow brick road. Like the path was laid out for you. Emotionally, I feel like you feel very secure. Like, and then this is also major arcana energy. So I feel like you're going to marry this person. I mean, granted, the cards haven't truly indicated that yet. So we'll see what comes out. But I feel like this is going to be a major... This person is going to have a major effect on your life and the way it pans out. It would for me too, because imagine if, again, they're not a celebrity for all of you, but say, you know, they sold their idea to a startup company and they have millions of dollars. I feel like this person is very successful, very wealthy, which is why I say that. But I feel like, you know, it's not every day you run into someone who has a private jet or like who has their own building or stuff like that. So this experience with them is going to be something like you've never experienced before, within the bedroom and without, like, and outside of that. The energy you feel, pile 3, for your first time with this person. Yes, we have lover. Okay, and let me grab the card because Leo, the lover, okay? A lot of love in this connection. Which I feel like you have to have, because this person isn't just whining and dining everybody and anybody. But it says great passion and devotion, unbridled appreciation of someone or something. Yeah, I feel like they definitely open your heart. That unbridled appreciation, because you have no one to compare it to, because you've never been in this type of intimate adult connection before. You are just like so appreciative for what they provide for you, what they're able to do for you, that you feel so passionate. You feel so devoted to this connection, and you're just like, I want to do anything I have to keep it, but in a good way. Your first time, you're just filled with love. So I don't feel like, you know, this is like a one night stand or some like romantic dalliance. I feel like there was a connection here, and then it developed into, you know, because you don't just instantly love someone. I mean, sometimes you do, sure, love at first sight and whatnot, but it's kind of like you really have this sense of love to them and this devotion where you can see a sense of stability growing more. And that's why you have this like passion to really put your all into this. Pile 3 is first time. We have communication, number 22, which is 4. Yeah, definitely the sense of open communication and dialogue. You feel safe, again, with this stability and this Goldilocks zone where everything just works as you would want it to. Not too big, not too small, not too noisy, not too quiet, not too, what's it called? Not too to themselves, not too open and for everybody, not too much about their business, but not too much careless. It's very balanced. And when it comes to communication, it's the same way. Like, they don't necessarily talk too much, like they're annoying, but there's definitely this open communication of having the safety to be able to say whatever is on your mind. It's so nice. I love it so much for you. Pile 3 is first time. Okay, there is some fear. And I feel like there's fear here because you've never, again, experienced something like this before. So you're just like, what am I about to get myself into? But I also, it says fear. I realize I'm testing my resolve to live in the energy of love. I feel like you're also scared about how much you love this person. And maybe it was a little instantaneous. Maybe things did develop a little quickly where it's like, holy shit, this is going to be the person I marry. Like, how did I find them so fast? How is it that they have my heart so open? Like, you feel like you're wearing your heart on your sleeve with this person. So it's just like, things could end at any minute. So that's kind of like your fear of it. But to stay in that energy of love, it's kind of like, I'm almost scared by how much I love them. I'm scared by, you know, because you've never experienced someone like this before. And again, they're kind of like that perfect, harmonious person that you feel like you have a purpose with. And you really want to test your faith to see where this connection could get you. So you're just scared that, you know, because I feel like you've always wanted this like once in a lifetime, long lasting love in your life. And to have it here and it to be at your door, you're just kind of scared. Like, you kind of feel that good things don't last. So you're just like, oh, what do I do? But first of all, if good things don't last, appreciate it while you have it, okay? I had a car for only a year, and I love the fact that I put myself in a position to have the car. I wasn't regretting the fact that I don't have it anymore. So it's kind of like, there's something you wanted for so long, appreciate and be devoted, unbridled appreciation of someone that you were even able to experience this love. And don't even put your fears in the forefront where it might not last. Just appreciate it while it does last. Pile 3 is first time. 2 cards. I only want 1. But the cards that did pop up was indecision and discipline. I feel like you're trying to be disciplined on how much love you let pour out of you, because again, you're kind of indecisive that this would last long or not. And it's kind of like, give it your all. Okay, just give it your all while you have the opportunity to do so. Pile 3 is first time. Pile 3's first time. Envy. It says, I am the same as everybody, but with different challenges. This gives me the energy of, first of all, they're both like this yellowish color, which makes me think of sacral solar plexus chakra vibes. And sacral chakra is about your sexuality, but solar plexus is about your confidence. So I feel like with fear and envy is kind of like you're a little jealous of the people they were with before you, or you're kind of like, oh, I wasn't as poised as your exes, or say for example, this is a celebrity, right? And say they dated Ariana Grande, for example, and you're like, well, I'm not as much of a like a, I'm not as feminine as her, or I'm not as experienced as her, or I'm not as, you know, maybe his exes were Chanel and Versace, and you're like, I'm not as poised as them, I'm not as regal as these people you've dated, and you're kind of envious. Or even when you go on trips, you're like, you're looking at the other people that are now in your vicinity, right? Because you're like, oh, all of these people went to the Hamptons for the summer and horseback rode, and I'm just learning these things, or I'm not the same as what you're used to, and you're kind of, you know, envious of those experiences that those people had. And it's kind of like he's been with people like that, and that hasn't, or she, you know, whomever, but it's like they've experienced those type of people, and there's a reason that it didn't work out in the past. And if it was meant to be, they would still be with that person. They like your fresh perspective, or your new sense of mystery, or your magicalness, or whatever, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like, don't let fear hold you back from the potential of what could really be. Again, with the communication, since the communication is so open, it's kind of like, just communicate any fears or any doubts or any worries, so that they can help you settle in, and they can help say the right things. I feel like words of affirmation might be a love language for you. So let them arise to that occasion of doing that. But with this card, it also says iris, which makes me think of your eye. And it's like, you're the apple of their eye. So don't put yourself, don't worry about things that don't matter. That's what I'm trying to say. And then the clock also says 1212, which is like a match, a reflection, kind of like a twin. So it's kind of like, yeah, maybe financially your bank accounts don't match, but who you are as a person, you guys both have this sense of lover energy, this passion and devotion for your partner. So it's kind of like, don't, you guys aren't as different as you think. You may have different challenges and different circumstances growing up, but you guys are very much peas in a pod, very much a match. So don't count yourself out from that. The first time, pile three's first time with this person. Pile three's first time. We have wisdom, future, truth. Yes. Recognize your truth. First of all, recognize that you have a future with this person. Even on your first time, recognize that this isn't going to be a smash and dash, okay? You definitely have this future connection, but it's also like, use the wisdom, because remember, you're using the culmination of all your past relationships or all your past situations, and you're taking all those and you're comparing it to this person, and you're like, wow, I've never experienced something like this. And remember, they're your match, they're like your twin. So if you are looking at your past and being like, wow, I've never experienced something like this, they're looking at it the same way. So it doesn't matter if their exes are debutantes and models and whomever the case may be, they are not you. So recognize that truth and use the wisdom again of your past experience, where it's like, I've held myself back in a relationship, I've not shared my complete truth in a relationship, and this is how I felt, or this is how things went down, or whatever the case may be. Like, since there's this sense of stability, there's open communication, this sense of peace, don't ruin that peace by dancing with your fears. Don't ruin that truth by keeping secrets. All right, and then every time with this person. Every time with this person. Pile three, every time with this person. We have Queen of Wands. Queen of Cups. Oh, we have Queen of Wands, Queen of Cups, and Seven of Wands. And let's get one more. Ooh. We have the Emperor again. and the Nine of Swords in reverse. All right. With the Queen of Wands, I feel like every time with this person is going to be like a volcano ready to erupt. Okay, you have all this like exuberance and confidence and pent up energy that you just need to burst. Okay, so I feel like busting a nut every time. That's the energy I'm getting. With this Queen of Cups, it gives me a sense of warmth. Okay, so like a volcano is more than just warmth. It's fire, it's heat, right? But this person isn't being melted by you. It's not being destroyed by you. It's like they appreciate the warmth. There's this sense of unconditional love here. And there's even like this kind of empathetic nature, like this telepathy between you guys, which goes back to that twin energy, peas in a pod. You're very understanding of each other and where the other person's coming from. With this card, I feel like you like when you can just see like abs and they're shirtless with like reaping muscles and they just zip it down and pop it out. Okay. Or again, like this, where they're teasing you with their staff and like they're kind of pulling it out, but maybe not necessarily all the way. Okay. Maybe they're older than you. I definitely get masculine daddy energy, which, as I said before, I did get daddy energy. But yeah, okay, so every time with them is definitely going to be like warm, comforted, unconditional love, but it's definitely still fiery and passionate and confident. Okay, especially you're definitely more confident in the connection. Not that you ever weren't, because again, there was this sense of peace, but I feel like you definitely were able to shed that fear and that jealousy. You've kind of learned to validate yourself and not seek external validation from your surroundings. But with words of affirmation, I really feel as being one of your love languages, they are more than happy to kind of calm your nerves and communicate whatever you need to hear to get you in the right state of mind. But you definitely have a lot more power now. You stopped giving away your power so much, so you definitely have a lot more power, a lot more structure. They kind of taught you how to be this emperor and like take the lead with more activities. And then with the Nine of Swords in reverse, which is definitely the card you want to have in reverse, you're not necessarily putting yourself in the position of a victim or letting your anxiety get the best of you. You recovered this energy and kind of accepted things as they are. So you're enjoying yourself. You're enjoying yourself. You're not letting anyone steal your shine, okay? But yeah, I think you like to see them sweaty and I've been working on the railroad. I mean, I know that's a slave song, so maybe that's not the right song, but this also reminds me of, I don't know if you guys seen that white boy from TikTok who has like not a hammer, an axe, and he like chops wood in the woods. I feel like you like watching them do manual labor and building up a sweat and just like really tapping into like this masculine energy where it's like, I have to provide for you. And you're just like, yes, daddy. And when you're done providing for me, let me provide for you. Wink face. Okay. Oh, the energy of pile 3 every time. We have Knight. Okay, it says loyal, romance, and chivalry, a love of honor. Yeah, they're like your knight in shining armor. They're chopping wood and whatnot. I mean, your knight in shining armor could also be Shrek. Like, they don't have to be a 6-pack with reaping muscles if that's not the vibe you're into. But loyalty, romance, chivalry, like, they're kind and they're polite and they're romantic and they're loyal. And you're the same way, because you really let your lover energy like expand and your heart open. There's this sense of romance and this sense of loyalty, and you're just like, you do so much for me, let me do this for you type of interaction. You love being able to provide for them. Or again, because they are someone you've never experienced before, you love giving your all to them. Because it's like you've always been a lover in disguise. You just never had someone you could like pour your love into. And now that you can, you're just like, I want to erupt all over you again and again. Because you have so much pent up love that just wants to burst. Oh, and that's funny. This goes back to that horseback riding energy I was talking about. Where it's even like, oh, I didn't get to grow up like you, or your society, your inner circle, everyone got to horseback ride. I don't know how. And they're just kind of like, I love being your first. Like, they love that you haven't experienced things before, so they can mold you in their way. They can teach you how it should be done. So don't ever try to count yourself out for not having experienced certain things before. They're like, I love that I could be the first person to introduce you into this lifestyle. Pile 3, they're every time. Pile 3. Okay, 2 cards came out, but I'm only gonna take, I'll take them both. It's okay. Because they both are the number 6, 15 and 24, so I'll take them. And that's another thing, like I said, where you guys were twins or peas in the pod. Like 15 and 24, they aren't an exact reflection of each other, but they both equal 6. So it's like, even though your circumstances in society and your upbringing weren't exactly the same, you guys are both 6s. Not really, you guys are both 10s, because with this energy, it's like, whew. But you know what I mean? You're still the same. So we have radical acceptance, Freya, which gives me the energy of, again, they don't care that you haven't done certain things. They accept you as you are. So it's like, don't count yourself out. And also, anything you wanted to try or experience or participate in, they accept that completely, because they're just like, let's do it. Let's do it again and again for infinity. Like, you're not going anywhere. You're stuck with me. So I accept all that you are. You accept all that you are. Let's get it done. And then with rebirth, Isis. Remember, we had Iris over here, and now we have Isis here. And then the only difference between Iris and Isis is one letter, and S comes after R. You know, PQRS, Iris, Isis. Anyway, I feel like things are very much going in order with this person. That was the point of the story. But this has rebirth, so I feel like they are going to kind of like, again, maybe the volcano was dormant because you didn't have this love that you were ready to give to just anybody. But once they came, they like activated you to erupt. So with this rebirth, it's kind of like reawakening your spirit, or like reawakening your power, getting you out of this fear. So you kind of have this rebirth where you're confident, you're validating yourself, you're in a completely different position than when you first met them. And it's interacting with them and their confidence and their lifestyle that has helped you grow in this way. And also, again, every time with them feels like a rebirth, because they kind of awaken something in you that you didn't know was there. So you're like, wow, every time I'm learning something new about me, about you, about our connection, about our love. Pile 3, every time with their person. We have grief in reverse. It says, I understand that losing something is an opportunity to appreciate it. But with it being in reverse, I feel like this goes back to that rebirth energy where it's like each time you're gaining something new, you're appreciating something new about what you've witnessed with your abilities, or how you're able to open up or carry yourself or anything like that. Pile 3, every time. Yes, we have self-esteem. It says, I possess gifts of the soul that benefit me and others, which also goes back to radical acceptance, where it's like every time you're appreciating something new about yourself and what you can deliver to the activity, but also your self-esteem is rising because, again, you're not envious of the people from the past. You know what you provide for the connection and what gifts you have and what they enjoy about your connection. So you're just like, I might not be a rich bitch, but I'm a bad bitch. I'm a sensual bitch. I'm a lover. My heart's open. Like, pile 3, every time with their person. We have number 14, the white stag. It says shape-shifting support in other world. First of all, I feel like when you guys smash, you're taken to like a whole nother world, a whole nother experience. You kind of maybe even have out-of-body experiences where you're just like not even there anymore. With shape-shifting, that goes back to that rebirth energy and that self-esteem where you're like transforming into another something, another version of yourself, your higher self. You get closer to your higher self every time you are able to just let yourself be and to experiment in unconditional love and radical acceptance. And then with support, I feel like that goes back to that words of affirmation energy, that radical acceptance, where they support you in every avenue, in every direction. Even if you're a beginner and a novice, or you never experienced a thing, or you've never tried before, they are there to support you and to hold your hand or help you fly in the right direction. They're like, if you're a bird, I'm a bird type of deal. Okay, and then some of these, and I'm done. This is the tea bag. Any final messages for the energy of pile 3? We have misunderstanding, wall. Yeah, I feel like definitely don't put your walls up with any misunderstandings from your first time or any time, okay? You guys definitely have that communication aspect, so always keep that window open. Don't put any walls up before you had a chance to talk about it. But even if you did have walls up, they are definitely going to shatter anything you try to put in the way of you and this love. We have marriage, and I said that earlier. This is going to be like your end all be all person. You could tell from the beginning that this was something you've never experienced before. I definitely said marriage. I'm like cheesing so hard for the confirmation. We have rainbow. The most difficult part of a situation is over, which is mostly just your fears holding you back. And that's so funny that rainbow came out, because when I saw this card, the rainbow on her cheeks really like spoke out to me, but I didn't say anything because like I didn't know how to tie it into the story. So the fact that those rainbow cards came out is more confirmation for me over here. We have lion, time to act. And that goes back to the energy right here with this lion, where I said they may appear like intimidating to some people. And with the time to act, that goes back to the energy of me telling you that they are going to approach you so that you don't have to do anything, because they're going to take the action. We have beetle, good fortune, which goes back to, yes, their sense of abundance, but also that this is just going to be a fortunate connection. And last one, we have wishbone, a wish is granted. So I feel like you've been manifesting this type of energy or this type of connection or a relationship with someone you've never experienced before. So this connection will definitely feel like a wish come true. But that is what I have for you, pile 3. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to help. Bye. Hello, pile 4. So we are tapping into your first time versus every time. Technically, when I structured this reading, I was thinking of like your divine counterpart, but it could be like your spouse or your significant other or your long-term dalliance. So like just take it how it resonates. Okay, so pile 4, we're starting with who. Who is this person? Ooh. Pile 4, who is this person? 2 cards, we only want 1. Who is this person? Okay, we have balance, which could mean Libra energy, or they could just be a very balanced person. They kind of mirror you. They're like the yin to your yang. Or I feel like with balance, they could also be like a balanced fire and water sign, or, you know, they have we're all made of multiple signs, but they especially know how to balance their attitudes and such. Like, I'm a bunch of fixed signs, so that's Aquarius, Leo, Scorpio, Taurus. So I'm very set in my ways, but I feel like this person is very balanced, like it says. Pile 4. Who is their person? We have Scorpio energy. The animal. Yeah, I feel like this person is very instinctual, based on their instincts. Okay, so with this Scorpio energy, Scorpio's a water sign. Scorpios are very deep. It says transformative, intense, mysterious, but I feel like they're aware of their energy, so they do their best to still be forthcoming, or to be lighthearted, or to be because this says the animal and then it says primal, so it's like they know their natural raw instincts, but they do their best to still balance that out with their learned, what's the opposite of instinct? Like your learned behavior, I guess you could say. I feel like there's ways they act, but then there's ways they know they should act. So they definitely balance that out. You know how some people think, no, wait. Some people act before thinking. I feel like maybe they're like a very impulsive person, but they learn to like confront that. So they're kind of conscious of certain things they do. So they act the way they're supposed to and not necessarily the way they want to. But let's keep going. Pile 4. Who is this person for pile 4? We have 10 of Cups. Who is this person for pile 4? So what, are just all of the cards gonna fall on the floor? We have 3 of Swords. Pile 4. Who is this person? And Page of Wands. Okay. This goes back to that balance energy. We have 1 water energy. We have a Cups card, a Swords card, a Wands card. We're only missing a Pentacles card. So instead of all the cards being the same, there's like 1 from each element. So that goes back to that balance energy I was feeling. But I feel they're very family oriented. Is that the word I'm looking for? I feel like they want a family, this person. They're very satisfied and feeling successful and feeling like emotionally connected when they're in like a unit, a dependable unit. I feel like they're good at deception and manipulation and showing you what they want you to see, but not necessarily who they completely are. I feel like they're very mysterious. And with Page of Wands, they're exhilarating though. They're mysterious, but they're not necessarily secretive. Scorpios are known for being secretive, but in this case, I feel like because we have that balance energy, I feel like they're not completely forthcoming with information, but that doesn't mean they hold it hostage. Like, they're not just going to volunteer information, but if you ask them about it, they would be more than excited to share it. But I feel like, yeah, emotional joy or like peace is very much their compass. And that's funny too, because on the surface, they could appear like RBF, like resting bitch face, and very, I don't know, maybe you would think they were selfish or they're very like dark because they're so quiet and so like to themselves to some degree. But then when you really got to know them, you would see how like sparky they are and how like wild and like talkative they are. And you're just like, wow, the person I thought you were and the person you actually are completely different people. And you're like, yeah. And they're like, yeah, I'm very good at disguising my true intentions. Because I feel like they also been hurt. Like, people like to steal their thunder, or they're the type of person who's like, oh my God, look what I made. Isn't it amazing? And then the person's like, yeah, it's okay, I guess. And then they're really down on themselves. So instead of like getting to a sense of destruction because people don't match their intensity, they just kind of learn to hide that parts of them. But that doesn't mean it's not there. It just means they're just not as forthcoming with it. But let's keep going. Enough about them. Pile 4. How does pile 4 feel about their first time? We have 8 of Cups, the Artist, and the 10 of Pentacles. Okay, I feel like you guys are both on board with the whole family dynamic. Okay, for your first time, how do you feel? I feel like a part of you wants to escape. Let me make sure I'm reading this card right. Okay, yeah. So a part of you does want to escape and walk away. Like a thief in the night, I'm getting. Like, you just kind of want to run away from the potential of this moving forward. But on the other hand, you're kind of ready to find a new path. What do I mean by that? I feel like the intensity of this person kind of scares you. And you can easily see yourself getting obsessed with this person. It's a power of the Scorpio, okay? They definitely have that power. For you just to get so enticed within them. So I feel like a part of you wants to walk away and not even bother, but another part of you really wants to seek out this path because you kind of have a vision of like a legacy you guys could build together, or a family, or like there's a sense of satisfaction and achievement here. Also, when I say achievement, I feel like some of you are like, oh my God, nobody else can bag this person. Nobody else can get as close as I got. So like, you kind of want to hook up with them just so you can say you bagged them, which is maybe why you want to walk away, because you're here for the wrong reasons. Or at least that's what you tell yourself in your head. I just want to hook up with them to say I was able to hook up with them. But on the other hand, you want to go towards this connection because you really have this vision and you really see an opportunity here for you guys to have a family. In their head, though, when they say family with this 10 of cup card, family for them is kind of like kids and like, you know, like a loving family unit. And for you, when I see this card, family could just mean you two and a dog. So maybe you have fur babies but not real babies. So I feel like maybe you think your guys' end goal isn't the same. So you're like, let me just walk away before I get too attached. But on the other hand, you're like, attach me, hook, line, and sinker. Like, I'll be your sports fish. Is that what it's called? I'll be your trophy wife. Like, you could put me on a pedestal and just keep me there in a jar. So some of you want to be like overtaken and maintained by this person, and some of you don't want to lose yourself. So you're just like, let me avoid it while I still have the chance. Because you know, once you cross this threshold or this entanglement, like there's no coming back from that. All right, let's keep going. The energy of pile 4 and their first time. We have shapeshifter. It says skills at navigating through different levels of consciousness, ability to see the potential in everything. Yeah, that's exactly what I said. You can see the potential of you developing into a family, and I feel like that kind of scares you. And that's why it says navigating through different levels of consciousness. You're kind of like playing against your own theories. you're like, I could do this, but what if it ends up like this? Or I could do this, and I don't know. I just don't know. Because again, you have this vision, so you're like, you can see all outlooks, all opportunities, which is why you kind of want to walk away to protect yourself before things even begin. Pile 4, the energy around their first time. We have miracles. I'm going to read from the book on this one, because I feel like you need the words of encouragement. It says, she's here to remind you of all the amazing wonders that are everywhere in your life right now. Have you stopped believing in miracles? Do you think they are only for others or doubted their existence? Could it be you've been reading and watching the news too often, so finding yourself feeling powerless and despondent? Have no fear, for the Mother of Miracles has a message for you. This is all about your mindset. The moment is an opportunity to turn things around, and it begins with your thinking. What if you remember that your repeated thoughts, feelings, and beliefs call the world into form? What if you recommitted to your co-creative partnership with the divine? You have the power, the Mother of Miracles running through your veins. She did not need the seed of a man from outside her to give birth to a miracle. In the same way, you don't need your outer world to change first. You don't need someone to rescue you, love you, or take you away. You are the one you've been waiting for. You need only choose how you will respond to your current reality and focus on a day at a time in service of the miracle of life. You are a powerful co-creator and responsible and accountable for the thoughts, feelings, and beliefs that fueled your dreams. You don't need a cause or any evidential fact or calculation to believe and then see the miracle rise up in the conditions of your life. Ever since you were born, events and opportunities have come together to support you, guide you, show you love, and present the world as you see it. Look closely and see the hand of the divine working in your behalf. I feel like, again, with shape-shifting and seeing the potential in everything, you have to see the potential and the miracle of what could happen. The fact that you found someone that you could be so obsessed and crazy about that you want to have a family with them is actually a miracle. Because think about how many people you avoided or how many people you turned away until you found a love that completely changed you. This intense, obsessive, primal, lusty connection. So I feel like for your first time, you may be projecting. Well, for your first time, you're obviously in that state of indecision of, should I do it, should I not do it? But it's like, look at how much you can gain from this. Loving someone this deeply is a miracle. And if you had a vision that you could really see playing out into reality with this person, don't run away from that. Okay. Pile 4's first time. We have relationships. I'm attracted to those people who serve my higher good. And we have freedom. I possess the power and the free will to create my own happiness. I feel like if you're happy here, don't walk away from that. Don't be scared of what might unfold. Don't be scared of the intensity of the connection. But for your first time, I feel like you'll already be in a relationship with this person by the time you guys bump chicka wow wow. And if that's the case and you're already in a relationship, how are you going to walk away from something you're already involved in? Because if you were scared that the intimacy was going to deepen, why even put yourself in a position to be with this person? You have to feel free enough to let yourself go, in the sense where, like, you want to free fall into the unknown, which makes me think of She's the Man. When Olivia went up to Sebastian and whispered in his ear when he got off the cab, something, let's free fall into the unknown. So, like, yeah, you have the power to run, But you also have the power to see the miracle and the potential of being with someone who's compatible with you, who sees things the way you see. So if you were going to be obsessed with anyone, why not be obsessed with a connection that's actually going to go somewhere and can turn into like a family or something? Because what would suck more is to be obsessed with someone who doesn't go anywhere. And then you're obsessed with them and it's taking forever to get over them and all of this stuff. I'd rather be obsessed with someone that I have a future with. Be so obsessed with them that you don't see anything else. That doesn't seem like a bad thing to me. Pile 4 is first time. We have the mother, Gwyneth, which did come out for another pile. Pile 2, maybe, I think. It says the mother, nurture, present, which makes me think nurture the relationship you have. Be present in the connection while it is. Don't think too many steps ahead that you miss out on the joy of the now. Because again, I said free fall into the unknown. Like, you can shapeshift through different levels of consciousness and you can try to assume the outcome, but you don't know. It's literally unknown. So you just have to be willing to be happy. And with the mother energy, I feel like you have to shift out of the consciousness of your mother. Because maybe your mother didn't have the best examples of love, or maybe your dad left, so you're like, this isn't gonna last long. Or I've seen my mother be obsessed with connections that weren't right for her and she couldn't even see the way out. But it's kind of like, you are not your mother. And again, the person you're trying to be obsessed with seems so balanced and so safe. Like, sure, maybe there's a little conflict sometimes, or sometimes they call you out on your bullshit, but we are supposed to mirror things within our partner is supposed to mirror things within ourselves to help us call out those certain structures so that we can demolish them and overcome them. Like, your people in our lives are meant to mirror our realities back to us and help us transition out of the things that are holding us back. So your first time with this person, I feel like you're in your head about everything that can go wrong, but you secretly have this vision of how everything could go right, but you're not necessarily sure if that goodness and that happiness is something that's truly achievable. And it's like, believe in the miracle that this can turn out better than you ever expected. Okay. And every time with this person, pile 4. We have Taurus energy, which is the Hierophant. Which is funny because I told you that fixed signs are me, and fixed signs are Leo, Scorpio, Taurus, and Aquarius. And Scorpio and Taurus are both right here. So I feel like even maybe you're stubborn and you're very fixed in your ways. That's why you're willing to walk away. And it's kind of like walking away is what you normally do. And this isn't a normal interaction. So do the opposite of what you would normally do. Instead of running away, choose to stay. Choose to see it through. Choose to chase after your own happiness. We have the Tower. We have the 10 of Coins. Again, okay, the 10 of Coins came out for your first time, and now it's coming out again for every time. And it's like every time there's a sense of achievement and sense of satisfaction because you went for this family that you were looking for. And again, I said family for them could mean a bunch of kids, but family for you could mean a pet. Or maybe you've come to terms with it being both. Like, who knows? But yeah, right here. Mind you, these are 2 different decks, and you got the same energy for both. And for both, they were the last card. which is reiterating to go after your success, go after your dream, go after your sense of satisfaction. So every time I feel like they're going to be a spiritual teacher, which is definitely Scorpio energy. Scorpios are very transformative. So I feel like each time they're guiding you towards releasing something else about you, each time they're mirroring some energy that causes you to change, like a massive change. Because maybe that first instant is when you are destroying the structure that your mom placed on you, and you're like, okay, those are examples I saw, but they're not an example of the love I will have, and you're choosing to like let that go. And then moving forward, they're like a spiritual guide for you to some degree. And this card could also mean marriage, which goes back to like that family, that legacy of family, that sense of achievement and success. But they're always kind of pushing you to help you grow and to help shift you out of the things that hold you back. And that could even be within yourself. That could be asking for what you want. That could be letting your anger out. Like hate sex, but in a good way, you know, because it's just it's just an action to help you release some like stress and whatnot. But yeah, with them is like a newfound faith, and it's giving you the opportunity to rebuild things the way that is true to you and not the way you think is true or it's supposed to be or anything like that. And you being able to build your own sense of stability and foundation is how you'll be able to bring in a family that you've never experienced before. I feel like this person helps you end a lot of generational like curses and distractions. And in the bedroom, I feel like you like your hair pulled. Okay, Rapunzel, let down your hair and you getting yanked. And I feel like you guys like the opportunity to make a lot of babies. I'm not saying they have to come to fruition, but the opportunity is there. But even then, I feel like family for you, maybe that's why you just wanted you two and a dog, because family never really was like joyous, laughter, community, safety, support, things like that. Or maybe in the past it was just you and your mom, so you're used to a family being like a 2-unit thing. But with them, I feel like being so blissful and so happy, you're more open to what a family could be. Like maybe it could include children one day. Because again, they're shattering so many of your outdated beliefs and helping you like see a new way or a new light, which is definitely, again, Scorpio energy. They will completely shatter any falsifications and help bring your truth into the light. Okay, we're almost done. The energy of pile 4 every time. We have Fool, okay? It says, fearlessly revealing emotion, helping people laugh at absurdity and hypocrisy, which is exactly what I said. Shattering those beliefs that are absurd and hypocritical and using humor to help you reveal emotions, which goes back to this laughing energy, this humor, this lightheartedness, where it's like, okay, so this happened, ha ha ha, but let's, we can laugh through it. It doesn't have to be so serious. We can have like this lighthearted effect about it, but it's serious enough that we're going to change the things that don't work for you. And again, with this mask energy, it's kind of like you initially wanted to hide behind this mask where it's like, I don't want the things I want, but you choosing to take that off and really showing your truth, because that's how you can get to that bliss, that emotional vulnerability, by being open and not denying your truth. where it's like, yeah, I was scared because I don't know what it means to be in a family, or I was scared because of the potential of how much I could love you. Pile 4, there every time. Pile 4, every time with their person. We have potential, which goes back to what I've been saying. They're going to show you the potential. First of all, with this attention on the third eye chakra, it's like things that you were kind of blinded to. They're kind of awakening your consciousness to some degree. So they're showing you the potential in things that you kind of written off for yourself. The potential in your happiness, the potential in freedom, the potential in relationships and family, the potential in vulnerability. This dog keeps jumping out at me. Between this dog and now this mask card, maybe you guys are like furries or like costumes or something like that. Wasn't Drake just wearing a dog mask not too long ago? Like, maybe you also see the potential in quote unquote foolish things. So it's kind of like, oh, even if I'm going to be perceived as a fool, like, they see the potential in anything you want to try. Because they're kind of like, you have these ideas in your head about how things will go down. And they want you to show you the potential in taking action, not just theorizing things. So they're like, don't be afraid to look stupid. I'll look stupid with you. Like, let's just go try it. Okay. Pile 4, every time with their person. We have discipline. It came up in reverse, honestly. And it says, I can accomplish what I set my mind to do. But I feel like with discipline, you hold yourself back from so much. Hold yourself back from what you truly want in the beginning, which you almost did. And you could have never reached this sense of happiness and this sense of family and the sense of joy if you didn't grant yourself this freedom. So it's kind of like not being so disciplined where you feel like you have to control your emotions or control your output. And it's just, again, fearlessly revealing emotion, fearlessly being absurd or being foolish, like not holding yourself back from the things you truly want. And I feel like that goes back to potential, where it's kind of like I don't have to be a certain way or conform to a certain aspect. I'm shattering those beliefs where I feel like I have to be perceived a certain way, and I'm seeing the potential in my honesty. The potential in life without me controlling everything. Pile 4, every time. They're every time with this person. And we have abundance, okay? It says, I'm a limitless being and I can manifest whatever I desire in this physical reality. Technically, it did come up in reverse. And it gives me the energy of, It gives me the energy of not having to do too much. Like, the 10 of Pentacles does represent abundance and represents wealth and success and achievement. But with abundance in reverse, it's kind of like your goal isn't how many kids you can have, like an abundance of kids, or you don't need a lot of things. And I feel like you kind of learn that, where it's like you can have this one thing, you could have this one person and be completely happy. Like, you can be obsessed and so like focused on this one reality which goes back to this shape-shifting energy. Like, you don't need multiple scenarios, multiple levels of consciousness, multiple theories on how something might unfold, okay? You just need this one outlook, and that's love. And with love, you don't really need much of anything else. Pile fours every time. Every time with this person for pile four. We have celestial. It says cosmos creation spiral. Okay, spiral makes me think of dizzy. So every time with them, it's kind of like dizzying, because you're always learning something new about you. You're always seeing the potential in the next thing. And revealing emotion, especially when you have emotion pent up for so long, it is very dizzying, because it's just kind of like, a lot of crying, it could be happy tears. I'm not saying it's bad tears, but it's like a lot of energy that's finally being released. It's just so dizzying. And I feel like the love, the intensity of it is so intoxicating, which goes back to that spiral energy. But then with creation, I feel like, and potential, you're creating anything and everything. It could be a family or not. It could be a marriage or not. But the possibilities are endless. Because when you release control, the miracle of what can happen can truly unfold. So like anything can be created. And celestial, that's all about divinity, the miracles, the things we cannot see. But that doesn't mean they're not coming to us. So I feel like the love in this connection and what it can create is limitless. And then we're gonna pull from the tea bag and I'll be done. The energy of the connection for pile four. We have butterfly, a change for the better, which exactly what I've been seeing, that they're going to change you, they're going to transform you, you're going to see the potential in yourself you've never seen before, you're going to release all this pent-up emotion. So you definitely get that from a caterpillar to a butterfly energy. You're expanding, you're spreading your wings, like, because also with discipline in reverse, a caterpillar can't control when it transforms. It just knows when it's time to go in its little larva pod and begin the metamorphosis. So it's kind of like when you were a caterpillar, maybe you were trying to control things here, but you realize you just have to have the miracle of transformation and let things develop into the next stage. We have dragon. It says beware of self-delusion. Self-delusion for you is the fear. Self-delusion is you trying to assume you know how things are going to end up, when that is literally out of your control. We have bread, period of prosperity and abundance, which goes back to that 10 of Pentacles energy. You're going to be abundant. It's going to be prosperous. It's going to grow. Let it. We have March, which is Pisces, Aries energy. Yeah, so maybe things will pop off in March for you. We have sunrise, new creative ideas, new ventures, a fresh start. So yeah, this connection is definitely a fresh start, a potential for something you've never experienced before. And with new creative ideas, that goes back to this artist energy, where it's kind of like you had a vision, you have an idea of a family you were trying to create, and allowing yourself to go after that. And lastly, we have, again with this dog energy, okay? It says dog barking, advice from a friend. Which gives me the energy of, advice from a friend. The way they help you grow, the advice they give you, how they help you confront life. You know, you guys aren't just in a relationship, a romantic relationship. There's also a friendship here. And then we have 111 on the clock, which is all about new beginnings. So again, it's not you walking away, which is your familiar. It's you having a fresh start, having a new beginning to go after your grandest sense of joy and happiness. But this is what I have for you, pile 4. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.